In Los Angeles, California, the city of angels, criminal defense attorney Lara Yeretsian. Lara, what about Johnny Depp? What about Johnny Depp on cross-examination today? I mean, there are people who are saying it's over. I had a guest in the first hour saying not only is the trial over, his career ended today. What are your thoughts about what we saw inside the courtroom?
I don't think I'm in a position to say whether his career ended today or not, but I can comfortably say that he didn't do very well in that cross-examination seat. He was impeached on many, many occasions, impeached with his own words at a prior trial. I mean, I've always said it. Anytime you've got more than one whether it be deposition or testimony by a witness, you've got plenty of material to have fun with, and that's exactly what happened here. He had a prior trial. He's made all sorts of statements under oath, and guess what? I'm sure his lawyers also were expecting it. He must have expected it, that every single word he said at the previous trial was going to be used against him. So if he veered off by even a little bit, they were going to come back and use that against him. That's exactly what they did, and that's what a good attorney does. A good attorney is ready. They've got their transcripts, and they will come back and impeach the witness after a certain statement with the witness's own words and sometimes with other people's testimony. So I don't think it was a good day for him. Was he completely destroyed? Maybe, maybe not. But it was a horrible day, I can tell you that.
Yeah. So the alcohol and the drug use, I think there's two ways to look at it. It's like a chicken and the egg argument, Lara, and I think that's what we may end up with here, is that Johnny Depp is really saying that it's the relationship that's driving him to his medication to numb himself, whereas Amber Heard is saying he's, getting drunk, getting stoned, getting high, whatever, and then blacking out and acting out. So it's like which is causing which and which comes first. Is that really the ultimate issue here when it comes to his sobriety or lack of sobriety?
I think he's going to have a tough time selling this idea that it's the problems in the relationship that got him to drink.
Well, can he make this argument, though? Can he make this argument that there are no other women who have come forward and said, Johnny Depp beat me? And the line that he keeps coming back to is, really, I start beating women in my mid-50s? That's when I become a wife beater? That doesn't seem to follow common sense.
That's a good point. So what I wanted to say earlier was that here, the defense has been able to show, and obviously he's also admitted it before, that he did have an alcohol problem. He was abusing drugs and using drugs with different people. But up until this point, I still haven't seen any evidence of physical abuse towards her. Now, the closest we got to it is him slapping that phone out of her hand. Everything else that we've seen, yes, he's been very vulgar in the way he refers to his wife. It's very ugly. We've got ugly texts. We see him getting angry.
Well, wait, let me ask you about that phone incident. Let me ask you about that phone incident, Lara. Which do you think is worse? Because I think I know what Johnny Depp is going to be dealing with, how they'll deal with it. Which is worse, secretly recording your spouse or slapping the phone out of the hand of your spouse who is secretly recording you?
It depends on who you ask, but I think most spouses are not going to react very well to being secretly recorded, because you don't expect that in a relationship, in a marriage, right? So, but again, it doesn't justify the reaction of slapping it out of her hand. Could have told her to stop it, but we don't even know if she was going to stop it. We don't know. Now, we're still waiting to see if he's going to be rehabilitated, and if he can explain why he was reacting the way he was, why he was writing these texts. Was she manipulative? Was she also, you could tell. I mean, look at also the way she's been dressing. I'm noticing there's similarities in what they're wearing. So she's playing with his mind, and it's possible that she was doing that during the marriage. I don't know, and it's going to come out hopefully when they try to rehabilitate him, where he can explain why he's doing all of these things and why he's writing, and how she knew how to push his buttons and drive him to this point, not necessarily drive him to the point of drinking and doing drugs, but she knew how to press the buttons. And we know that, and this looks like a tumultuous relationship, honestly. And I think the jury's seeing it, the nation is seeing it, and I think neither one of them comes across well. And I don't think either one of them is going to come out of this unscathed, and I think it's going to impact both of their careers.
Okay, Lara, now you've got Johnny Depp speaking those same types of words, not about Amber Heard, but about his ex, the mother of his children. What does that do to Johnny Depp in this case?
It just shows that he's the kind of person who uses this kind of vulgarities, and he basically has.
But like the worst word you can use for a woman is what he's using.
Yeah, he is, and he has very little respect for the women he's been with, clearly. But does that mean he's an abuser? Does that mean he's someone who beats up the women he's with? And we haven't seen any of that up until now.
Lara, the kids know who Elton John is, right?
Sure they do. They know who Elton John is, they know who Marilyn Manson is, and they know who Johnny Depp is. And is anyone surprised that Johnny Depp was doing drugs and was drinking? I don't think that's a surprise to anyone, including the jury. And I agree, this jury is not going to be surprised by it, is going to be very accepting of it. They're young. Even if they weren't young, they understand the business, and some of the people in the business, it's going to be an expected thing for them. So I don't think that in itself, by itself, the drinking or the drugs, is going to hurt Johnny Depp.
Yeah,
as long as he owns up to it.
Yeah, from my perspective, it's fascinating to me that all these stars are just texting each other. It's fascinating. Absolutely, some of these texts and recordings reflect textbook abuse. It's a shame people fail to understand verbal and emotional abuse is abuse. Lara, we were having this conversation. Like, what is abuse? What will this jury believe is abuse? Is this enough to satisfy this jury that Johnny Depp is an abuser and she is a survivor?
I don't agree with that. I think when you read the op-ed article that she's written, she's not referring to verbal abuse. The sense I got is that she's talking about physical abuse, and she's referring to the Me Too movement. So the sense I got, and I think this jury is going to agree, is that article is not about just this type of abuse, but it's about physical abuse, the kind of abuse, that domestic violence that we see in criminal cases.
No, not at all. Amber is the issue. This is what happens when a person is in a relationship with a narcissistic drama queen. Her histrionics and abuse are why they divorced. Meanwhile, her sister and friends enjoyed free rent in Johnny's penthouses. Lara, I think Johnny's got to get Susan on this jury.
I think so too, because she's taken it to a new level. I don't think pointing the finger at Amber is the solution here. I think the bottom line is the jury is going to see that both individuals here have their faults, and this was not a good and healthy marriage. And it wasn't because of just Johnny Depp's fault. It was because they were both at fault. And like I said earlier, I think this is going to impact both their careers. It doesn't mean it's going to destroy their careers, but it just gives the nation a glimpse of this tumultuous relationship. And it's almost like pure drama.
Yeah, you know what's shocking about it? As they're reading text messages and talking about, this stuff started like 2 years before they actually got married. Mm-hmm. They were talking about these issues too. Yeah. That's not the way a marriage goes, folks. If you're in a relationship and things are like that and you're not married yet, don't do it. That's not the way it's supposed to be. Wow. All right.
You'd hope so.